What is up, people? It is 8 o'clock UK time. I managed to get back with like 3 minutes to spare, which was awesome of me. That's what you get for sticking to the speed limits perfectly all the way and staying within all legal boundaries. This is our live feed. This is where I go through any questions, any queries, blow through any smoke and mirrors, ditch any myths within the fitness industry, talk about our Live Up online program, our one-to-one online training programs, our Eat Up food service, our supplements line, our one-to-one personal training, our seminars, our events, whatever else it is you need to know. You will no doubt see loads and loads of our own Live Up members in here. Anyone on Live Up, do feel free to chime in. Any of our other clients, do feel free to chime in and let me know what you think of UP. It's always good to hear. For some reason, my YouTube camera there is flashing and it's doing my head in. I don't know whether a battery's running out or something. It totally is a battery running out. Give me like 20 seconds while I plug that in and I'm gonna fix that because otherwise you can't watch this on rewind. Always prepared, you see me? Always prepared. Whip that down, slide that in a hole, and then everything should be right with the world. Let's see, shall we? It never goes in the hole you want it to first time, does it? Now, I've always got to thumb it in just a little bit. Hey. Right, some questions coming in, so I'm going to scoot back up to the top, see what's going on. Loads and loads of familiar names here. Ben, what's up? Mozilla, yo. Aaron, one of our very own from Marbella. Mark Rich, a lovely Alice Rich's wife. Laura, what's up? Susie, kisses to you too. ONG, Fury, Aaron, Fury, Ben. So save the day, that is now working fine, so you can watch this on YouTube. We're just about to avert a crisis. I think what it is because that's been sitting there, the other camera, for like 3 weeks while I've been away and traveling, with the battery pack on it, so the battery's actually gone dead just by keeping itself alive, etc. Andrew Willett, one of our absolute weapons from the Male Live Up program, who's had an unbelievable transformation and he's still not quite finished yet. I will be posting that up very soon at the request of Mr. Nick Mitchell himself because it's such a damn good result. So Andrew, you need to be really proud of yourself. MJ Rich, am I still in the USA? No, I was actually only in LA for 3 days last week. I had a really hectic schedule last week. Did the first of the Live Up seminars in London, which was a very fun day, very tiring day. The next day I flew to LA. I was in LA with Nick for basically 3 days. Then I flew back to the UK where I was for 2 days. Then I flew back to Marbella where I'm going to be for the next, what day are we today, Wednesday? For the next 2 days. Then I'm flying back to Manchester to do the Manchester seminar. So anyone who's coming on that, do let me know. And I'll be in Manchester for 2 days. Then I'll be back to Marbella for a while. So all over the place. I've been doing lots of traveling. Just call me a globetrotter, you know. Meg, one of our own, she's dieting right now. She's suffering for it. So she's going to distract herself with the sultry tones of Elliot Upton on Live Up FM. Nice. Any tips when on the last 4 weeks of a bulk? Any tips specifically for what? That's a very broad question. Very broad question indeed. Meg, see, you're laughing. I knew you'd laugh, you see. You can always laugh even when you're on a diet. Keeping myself fueled up because I am actually dieting now. The problem is, while I was away, being out of routine and ridiculous flying hours, even with the best will in the world, and me trying to take measures that I always tell you guys to, my eating was absolutely just so far off of routine, it was ridiculous. I didn't eat badly, but it was off routine, and that's just as bad as eating shit for me. If I'm not eating regularly, my body tends to fall apart. Being able to get home the last few days and actually get my food back in line has been the best thing ever. Don't take for granted what healthy food does for your body and your brain and sustaining energy levels. But still controlling my appetite with Amplify. I put a scoop of Amplify, 2 scoops while I'm training in a 1.5 litre bottle of water. 1 scoop just now in the evening because it's going to kill my appetite and it will stop me from getting cravings. So anyone out there who struggles with cravings or struggles with an excessive appetite when dieting, get yourself some Amplify, hit the link in our bio, 2 scoops while you train and 1 scoop during the evening. And it's an amazing, epic appetite suppressant, which considering it's not even supposed to be an appetite suppressant, it's an intra-workout drink. It's an awesome thing, awesome thing. Just gonna put my watch away. Shameless plug there for G-Shock watches. G-Shock, send me some free shit. HRV Rose, amazing transformation in your story earlier, Elliot. Thanks, Hannah. That was one of our very own boys, Arthur, who Wanted to give Live Up a go to see how it feels to diet the Live Up way as opposed to one-to-one style way, and to see how things went. And obviously the guy's done extraordinarily well. He's not even finished yet. That's 10 weeks in, and he's a big guy anyway. He's, you know, he's well over 6 foot. So to be able to slap a load of muscle on him and get him leaner at the same time on an experienced trainee, which, you know, all of the more uneducated personal trainers out there tend to say is impossible, right there is proof that it isn't. He's also overcome, he's got a health issue, which does affect his diet dramatically, which we've had to work around, which again, he has actioned correctly and he has done things very well. He's also had back issues, things like that, which again, we've managed to train around, and he's still got the results needed. And that is on the Live Up program. That's £50 a month. If you imagine that's what we can do on £50 a month, imagine what we can do for our one-to-one training and one-to-one online. For those of you who think that our results are impossible, nah. Tips of training. Again, Charlie, it's a really open-ended question. You know, ask me something specific. Tips for training on the last 4 weeks of a bulk. That's a really open-ended question. There's not really anything I can give you there. Supplements, yes or no when weightless is a goal? Almost certainly yes, Nicole. A few reasons. Number one, that even with the best efforts in the world, most food is nutritionally inept these days. Even the best food. You could be eating pretty much nothing but vegetables and the greatest meat on the planet. Because the foods in the earth, the minerals and the vitamins in the earth are now becoming depleted because we've over-farmed it and because we abuse the planet, even our foods don't have adequate amounts of vitamins and minerals in them. Now, if you add to that physical activity and all the other things that you are doing, you are depleting your own minerals, therefore supplementing with things just to top everything up where necessary it's not absolutely vital, but it can be unbelievably beneficial. So if the choice is between yes and no, it's absolutely a 100% yes. With regards to what you should be having, you don't necessarily need to be spending £200 or £300 a month on supplements like people do. You know, get the essentials, get things like zinc, magnesium, vitamin D3, omega-3 fish oils, and a really good multivitamin. And if you can afford it, again, a digestive enzyme. This is something I would highly recommend you all do, and you will get the best out of your training and your nutrition. And more than all of that, you will feel amazing while you do it. One of the nutritional sort of tips I give in the seminars, one I spoke about in London a few weeks ago, and the one I'll be doing in Manchester on Sunday, is my belief that nutrients are the key to low-calorie dieting. In order to sustain a low-calorie diet, to get super lean while still feeling absolutely awesome, it's all about nutrients. Your body tends to ask for nutrients rather than calories. The fact of the matter is, calories are in the stuff that has nutrients in, or a calorie is a measure of heat, specifically, which is a byproduct of the nutrients your body is asking for. So give it nutrients, it tends not to ask for many other things. So supplements, yes, can be super useful. Loads of you in. Phil Monk, again, one of our awesome guys from Live Up. Samir, what's up? Joanne, watching Charles Poliquin before, and he says you don't deserve carbs until you're at 9% body fat. Is this accurate? I knew Charles very well, spoke to him many times, spent a lot of time with him, been to dinner with him, had many chats, and I also disagreed with him an awful lot, which is classically me, because some of the stuff he said had to be taken with a pinch of salt. Do you deserve carbohydrates unless you're sub 10%? Not necessarily, but also not necessarily correct. Now, one of the things that you have to understand is that most people out there try to find a way to justify eating the things that they want to justify eating. But if you are not training hard enough and you have not been able to sustain some level of dietary discipline in order to get yourself that lean, then potentially having loads of carbohydrates in your diet isn't optimal. Optimal being the key word. But that is not to say that everybody needs to be in that place. Now, one of the things I do in the Live Up plan is I include carbs from the start, just to see how people respond to them. Some people respond really well. Some people don't respond so well, so we have to shift carbs around a little bit. But do I think that is true? Not necessarily. However, Charles is one of the smartest strength coaches on the planet that has ever been. You know, God rest his soul, whoever rest his soul, whoever you believe in, RIP. But I don't necessarily agree with that, no. And I did say that to his face. I tried the strawberries and peanut butter, and wow, it is epic, isn't it? I will be starting my 12-week EP program on May 1st. Awesome, Harks. Can't wait to see you there. See your result especially. Becky Lou, any advice for office workers? After a long day of staring at a screen, I find my energy levels are really low by the time I get to the gym after work. Walk around and stay hydrated. You know, as regularly as you can, get off your seat. Move. Because you're going to get fresh blood pumping around your body. The more blood that's pumping around your body, the more energized you're going to stay. And again, stay hydrated. You are not necessarily going to be hydrated well enough, and that is massively going to affect your energy levels. Ultimately, the body is designed to move around. It's designed to move around a lot and enjoy doing what it's supposed to do day to day. If you then start sitting down all day, you know, you've got recycled air from air conditioning units, or you've got disease and illness and all this shit around you from the people in the office, you're eating inflammatory foods, or you're dehydrated, that is of course going to affect your energy levels. So I would suggest trying to break that cycle, moving around, standing up every now and then, try and be as active as you can, and you'll find you'll have a lot more energy. Cooking a turkey, Thai curry as you speak. 1 can of coconut milk within fat portion measurements for 2 meals. Highly unlikely. Coconut milk doesn't really fit in there, and an entire can is considerably more than 4 tablespoons. So maybe have a look at that. You know, you can make it fit, but you need to get your portions right, because to turn around and say that an entire can of coconut milk is 4 tablespoons is way off. It's about 12 to 16, I'd imagine. So you're talking 2 or 3 days worth of food in there. When is the best time to take magnesium? Pre, post-workout, or before bed? Always before bed, Phil. Take about approximately, again, for your size, judging by your check-in photos, for your size, I would say about 400 milligrams before bed, and that should adequately allow your body to rest, recover, and sleep properly. Samir, is sushi good for a healthy meal? It's better than Domino's pizza, but is it something that is necessarily going to be a well-balanced healthy meal? No, it tends not to be. The rice in sushi is held together with a lot of sugar quite often. Again, you've got the starches, etc. You may have other little bits in it, a lot of stuff they fry, so it's not unhealthy per se, but it's also not that healthy. If you're trying to get in shape, I wouldn't necessarily be eating sushi. However, if you are in shape, you are lean, and you are performing well, you know, you can see your abs, etc., then by all means have some sushi, just keep it under control. I'm struggling with my diet and desperate to get lean quickly. What's the best diet information you can give? I struggle with finding what types of food to eat and how much to eat through the day. Amy, I have to ask what you've tried. So if you struggle with your diet and you're desperate to get lean quickly, that right there is your first mistake. Being desperate to get lean quickly means you're probably going to try some stupid shit to get lean quickly. We're talking Herbalife, soups, detoxes, juice diets, all this kind of stuff. That's a dumb thing to do, in my opinion. That's me, Elliot Upton, not UP. First of all, get rid of the desperation. If you're desperate to do something, you make stupid decisions. With regards to what and how much to eat, the fact of the matter is, you know, if let's say you want to go on your own, you need to figure out what your calorie maintenance is. You know, are you gaining fat? Are you losing fat right now? Figure out roughly by tracking your food for 2 or 3 days what you are eating. If you are gaining fat, you are eating too much and you need to take some away. If you are losing fat, you need to basically sustain there and be consistent. If you are maintaining, you may need to take some away or add some. Alternatively, get a professional to help you out. If you genuinely are desperate, somebody like me or the Live Up Plan or our one-to-one online training can help you out. But the fact of the matter is, if you are eating in a small calorie deficit and you're eating nutrient dense foods, like real foods, not products, not protein bars, not protein shakes, all this shit, certainly not the traditional processed foods that you all know and are all very aware of are bad, but don't fall into the trap of thinking that processed healthy foods are actually healthy. Eat real nutrient dense foods between 3 and 5 meals per day, and see what happens to your body. I do find if I cut out carbs, get leaner, but again, this could be created a deficit in calories, potentially, but I'm also the same. I can eat exactly the same amount of calories. For instance, let's look at this. If I cut out carbohydrates, I can eat about 4,500 calories, and I will still get leaner. I mean, but we're talking totally cut out carbohydrates. I can eat about 4,500 calories and get leaner. If I add carbohydrates, I don't start getting leaner until about 2,000 calories, 1,900 calories. So I don't care what people say about carbs, there is something in it for sure. Each one of us has a genetic predisposition to how many carbs we should be taking in, or whether we prefer high fat dieting, low fat dieting. My difference in calories is enormous, dependent on whether I introduce carbs or I just eat fats. So each one of us is very, very different, and you need to scope it out and see what works for you. I recently started getting very bad exertion headaches when working out, which is hindering my workouts, not able to push as hard. Is there any way to stop them? Number one, stretching your neck regularly in all planes, backwards, forwards, because you've probably got massive amounts of tension in your SCM here and the scalenes under here. So you need to stretch them regularly, 2 to 3 minutes per day, probably 3 or 4 times per day, in fact, stretching them out in every which way, and you'll feel the bind when you do it. You know, move your head around and find out where it feels tight. Also, find a good massage therapist, good sports massage therapist, and get them to massage it out properly. Very, very useful, and it will change everything for you, but they have to be capable. I do none of that because I feel it wouldn't work, and usually only eat lunch and dinner, maybe 1 snack. So Amy, you're not eating enough, basically. So, you know, without meaning to sound harsh, for someone desperate, to lose weight or to get lean, and you're only eating 2 meals, you probably haven't done that much research for someone who is desperate to find success. I would recommend minimum of 3 to 5 full meals full of nutrients, and that's probably going to serve you an awful lot better. It'll be a good place to start, see what happens, and then make changes based on that. But 2 meals is nowhere near enough. Tom, I heard something the other day about mixing cardio and weights in the same day. Thoughts on this? What did you hear? I don't really have any thoughts on it. Mix cardio and weights in the same day if you want, it's not a problem. I've noticed I'm getting lightheaded during leg workouts especially. Any thoughts? It probably means you're training hard enough, you've got enough blood down in your lower body. Just take your time, stay hydrated, and if it gets too bad, just raise your feet up above your head. Very, very common. Honestly, if you're not lightheaded while you're training your legs, you're probably not training your legs hard enough. Fury Jen, is it recommended to take fish oil with every meal, and how does it affect insulin glucose? It can help you get even more insulin sensitive. It's very, very good. It's great at bringing down inflammation. It's great at controlling stress hormones, etc. So it does nothing but good. With regards to the technical interactions, it's too big a subject. But yes, it is going to help you become more insulin sensitive and therefore use carbohydrates better, partition nutrients better, etc. The reason you can potentially take it with meals is, for most people, I would recommend between 5 and 10 grams of fish oil per day, which is a lot, considering most of even the biggest capsules have got about 750 milligrams in it, so not even a full gram. So you could be taking 10 to 15 caps per day. It's often easier to take them with meals because the meal is going to get your body secreting digestive acids to get it broken down, but it's also going to mask a bit of the smell, because you don't want to be taking 5 to 10 grams of omega-3 fish oils and then burping the smell of fish. You know, if your gob starts smelling like a fishmonger's wife, there's going to be a problem. For your colleagues, probably more so than you. You're welcome, Amy. I know it seems a bit, harsh, but that's honestly the best way to start. What's up, Robbie? He said that the body responds differently on weight training days than on just cardio days to the types of energy systems they use. No. No. Your body's not going to respond differently on a Monday versus a Tuesday. That to me sounds like absolute bollocks. But who knows? Maybe they've come up with some glorious research that I don't know about yet. But to me, it makes no sense. No logic in it. The only difference being, you're going to burn more calories on certain days. Now, if you do cardio and a weight training session, you're going to burn more calories that day versus another one. Fury Jen, thanks. What about this counting towards fats for the day? Fish breath. Again, I don't count it towards fats for the day. It's too complicated doing stuff like that. One of the things I try to promote on the Live Up Plan, and I talk about specifically in the seminars that I do, is just keeping things simple. A protein is a protein, a carb's a carb, a fat's a fat, a veg is a veg, a fruit's a fruit. If you start fucking around and you start saying, when we're talking about dieting for yourself, it's a bit different when you have a one-to-one trainer or you have a one-to-one online trainer, because things can be monitored much more closely. But in general, for those of you out there who are trying to get in shape and you struggle regularly, it's usually because you're sweating the little things before you can even begin to get the basics right. And that's a massive faux pas. It's the reason that most of you out there usually fail, because you're like, oh yes, but this protein has 14.73 grams of fat in it, so I have to make that work with this and blah. Shut up. It's a protein. Deal with it. That's a fat. Deal with it. If you're not changing, take some calories away from somewhere, but don't stress yourself out about those kinds of things, because the chances are you're trying to balance out, there's some fat in this, and you're still eating a cheat meal twice a week or going out drinking at the weekends. So look, how about cardio in Jejum? Jejum, first thing in the morning. I don't know what Jejum is, it's a cool sounding word, but not sure. First thing in the morning, I'm a huge fan of fasted cardio, massive fan for very, very many reasons. I will briefly go through them. Number one is it makes you get up earlier. Getting up earlier, the earlier you can get up, sensibly, of course, from let's say 4 to 6 a.m, the better everything in your life is going to be. The more productive you're going to be, the better you're going to be at work, the more successful you're going to be, the more shit you are going to get done, the better your training is likely to be. Number one, fasted cardio, first thing in the morning, forces you to get out of bed a little bit earlier than you normally would. By the time you get to work, you are more productive. It also potentially increases hormone-sensitive lipase, which is best way to look at it is a fat burning factory. So by increasing the amount of hormone sensitive lipase in your body, which fasted training does, over time, it increases your body's ability to burn fat. Now, when people say, oh yes, but you do fasted cardio because you're going to burn more calories there. You're not burning any more calories doing fasted cardio versus non-fasted cardio. You're going to burn exactly the same amount of calories. The difference is your body's ability to reproduce or produce more of hormone-sensitive lipase, which over time is going to help you burn fat faster. Okay, you're not burning more calories by doing it, but fasted cardio does really work, in my opinion. Now, of course, people are going to bring up studies, this, that, and the other. Yes, but a lab says this and this and this. Honestly, applying it for the last decade or so, the people who get up early in the morning improve all of their habits across the board. Okay, that alone, that one thing alone changes their success rate and their transformation rate. So there's definitely something in it. If you get a chance to fasted cardio, fasted cardio. Train weights for 4 years, then stopped for 2 years, been back in the gym for 3 months consistently, now need body composition. Is Live Up right for me? Absolutely, it's right for everyone, basically. You know, whether you're well-trained, whether you're under-trained, whether you're brand new to it, whether you are an intermediate, it can work for everyone. The only thing I say is make sure you are ready for it, because in order to get results, you have to be willing to do what is asked of you. The same with everything. You know, a lot of the questions I get asked are, what is the difference between a client who gets results and a client who doesn't? Is it genetics? Is it this? They always go for the thing that they want to find, oh, I'm going to justify it because this must be me. It isn't. It's who does what is asked of them. Simple as that. Now, there's certain social media personalities out there who tell you exactly what you want to hear. Oh, it's okay to be fat. It's okay to drink beer. It's okay to do this. It's okay to do that. Why? Because they want you to buy into their products and buy into them. Okay, it's a business thing. And it's a smart business thing, but you all fall for it. The fact of the matter is, this shit is not okay if you genuinely want to get in shape. Now, the only variable, as I say, is compliance. If you do what is asked of you on a program like Live Up, you are going to get a result. It is as simple as that. If you choose not to, or you choose to deviate, or you're that guy or girl out there saying, oh, but can I have a treat meal, or can I do this, or can I add this, or can I add that? You're the person who's not going to get in shape, because immediately you've got in there with the wrong state of mind and you're trying to bend the rules straight away to make it suit you. That's not going to happen. Di, 6 AM fasted cardio, absolutely, do it. How is carb cycling properly done? It's a big subject, this one, so I'll tell you how I do it. If I take a client, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm a massive fan of keeping it simple. Keep everything as simple as possible for both yourself as the trainer and for the client. What I will do is I will just use a basic amount of calories to get them lean. If you go into my profile, there's a few little things I've put up about calorie tapers. And so I start at what I believe to be around their maintenance calories, maintenance including activity. I change up their nutrition to make sure they're eating nutrient-dense foods that have a high thermic effect. Once we get to that stage, that usually elicits some kind of weight loss. Fat loss specifically. Then over time I will taper calories down until I stop getting an effect. Now that is usually enough, if the client is compliant, to get them to around 8 to 10%. If they want to get leaner, this is where I tend to introduce a carb cycle, which will be usually 2 days worth of carb cycling rather than the 3 or 4 or 5 that people do, like a low, medium, medium, high, high, medium, high, high, high. What I tend to do is lows and highs based on training days. Now, I will try to make the contrast as far as possible. So I diet them down linear with the same amount of carbs, same amount of fats, blah, 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 just based on calories I reduce. And then once I get them to a plateau when they can't shift any more past that, then I introduce a carb cycle. How many carbs on high days depends on the client. How hard do I know they train? How much muscle do they have? What sex are they? Are they stressed? You know, what is their general activity level? What genetic heritage do I believe they have? That will dictate how high or how low the carbohydrates go. Now, initially, based on the calorie baseline that I establish, I will alternate fats and carbs to maintain that calorie baseline. Now, that I will ride that wave for as long as I can. When that stops working, then I start calorie spiking. So not only will I carb cycle, I will calorie spike as well to try and get a better effect. That will usually get them down to anywhere, let's say between 8 and 6%. At that stage, I start to reverse diet them to see how much food I can give them whilst maintaining that kind of level of body fat, or a sub 10% level of body fat. So it's a big subject, carb cycling. It's a lot simpler than you think, but that's the best way I can explain it without drawing loads of squiggles on a board. Hey, Steffi J. So why is the best form of fasted cardio? I've just literally explained that, Di. If you want to see it again, I explained why it's important and why I believe it is the best. So if you want to rewatch the video when it goes up on YouTube, or rewatch this video and tag on to, it will be about 20 minutes. I discussed that 20 minutes in. You can watch this video again and see why I think fasted cardio is the best. I train 2 body parts at a time. How many exercises and sets do I do for each if I train each body part twice a week? I would say, dependent on the body part, anywhere between 8 and 12. Does green tea help speed up metabolism and help with burning fat? Not to the degree that you all think it does. This again is one of those things that rather than dieting and training consistently, which is the difficult thing to do, you all say, well, if I drink 3 more cups of green tea a day, I'm gonna get lean. You're not at all. Maybe it helps you 2%. Okay, if you're not dieting, maybe it'll give you a 2% boost, an unnoticeable boost. But potentially, technically, yes, it does help, but it is not gonna get you lean. Simply drinking a load of green tea is not gonna get you lean. What type of fasted cardio diet? Whatever you're going to do consistently. So if you can swim at half decent intensity, swim. If you can walk, walk. If you get on the Stairmaster, Stairmaster. If you can do rowing, rowing. If you cycle, cycle. Whatever you're going to do and whatever is going to get you out of bed to do it. Have you had any clients with low blood pressure? Yes, many, many, many. Any thoughts on training with this and minimizing the dizzy, faint feelings? Quite often, eat before you train is always a good one. Don't do any overhead stuff and don't do anything where your head is lower than the rest of your body. This is usually going to screw you up. Other than that, it's just a case of being very, very tight on yourself and making sure you're monitoring your responses to certain exercises and keeping track of them to make sure you don't end up falling out underneath a squat or something like that and damaging yourself. But happens to loads and loads of people. You just have to look at what individually affects you the worst. You're welcome, Fraser. Ilka, hey Leah, thank you for continuing these amazing Q&As. You're most welcome. We only do them every 2 weeks now, guys, so remember that. Don't tune in every single Wednesday to see me, but do remember that we have a lot of our other guys and girls from UP. A lot of the other trainers are now doing pieces of content for you. They're doing some of these live Q&As. One of our young ladies from Manchester, Arusha, who's an incredible trainer, got an amazing story behind her. She's now doing a lot of live feeds, a lot of live Q&As as well, so make sure you keep an eye out on the profile and check those out, especially those of you who have concerns with eating disorders. She's been there, she's done it, she's come through it, she looks insane out the other side of it, so make sure you're checking them out as well, not just me. Can you use Amplify twice a day if doing intermittent fasting or early in the morning before a workout, and do I take it rest days? Charlotte, yes, you absolutely 100% can. I'm not a massive fan of intermittent fasting myself, but yes, you 100% can take Amplify throughout the day. Muga, or Mugaz. Hi mate, just returned to gym after 2 weeks. I had a chest infection. My concern is that I have lost strength and muscle. Is this common? How can I regain my strength and muscle? Chances are in 2 weeks you've lost next to nothing. It'll be completely insignificant. 2 training sessions and you'll be feeling right as rain. How to get it back? Train. It'll come back. Will excess skin bounce back? I've had a baby and the stomach pouch remains. Depends individually. Some people have a better skin structure than others and will bounce back. Other people, it can be slightly more difficult, depends on the extent of it. One of the things you have to remember that a lot of people get wrong is that if you are trying to diet too hard and you are not nourishing the body, the skin structure will not repair. My own sister had this. My sister's had 4 kids. She had a lot of loose skin on her stomach. She'd been back and forth to a surgeon, 2 surgeons in fact, both of whom said that an operation was the only thing that would fix it. Now before she spent 5,000 on that, she came to me and within 6 weeks, we'd pretty much fixed it. The only reason being is she thought it was too much fat, so she wasn't eating properly, she wasn't eating enough, so her body couldn't repair the structures, and obviously she didn't want to spunk 5,000 on a surgeon who was basically just trying to grab a load of money. So yes, to a degree, it can be fixed, but you need to make sure you are well nourished and you're not starving yourself. And secondly, it's genetically dependent. Some of you are going to have better, more robust skin structures than others. So just be aware of that. PT Willing, you're welcome. What are your thoughts on drinking broccoli water to eliminate toxins? Just fucking eat good food. All of you out there picking gimmicks and this thing in a magazine or this juice or this, just fucking eat good food and exercise and rest. It isn't hard. Guess what? Your body does not want to feel shit. Your body does not want to be in a shit condition. Your body and brain do not want to be working suboptimally. We make them work suboptimally because we're morons and we treat them like shit. If you just eat proper food and you sleep well and you manage your stress in general, everything else works. Stop buying into stupid gimmicks before I smash my phone on the wall. Back in the room. Brilliant info on carb cycling. You're welcome, Joe. Tun, I tend to put on muscle easily. Lucky bastard. But I'm finding it difficult to lose weight. I want to lose weight and get lean. Tun, next one. I'm getting lean but not seeing it in the scales. So stop weighing yourself, it doesn't matter. If you're getting lean, and you've just said you want to be lean, and you can see you're getting lean, why do the scales matter? They don't at all, at all, at all. Forget the scales, all of you. Highly recommend Live Up Online program for anyone who's watching. I'm 2.5 weeks in, I feel fantastic. Boom! I'll give you your tenner later, Aaron, yeah? PT Willing, any book recommendations beside the UP ones? Loads, absolutely loads. But the three that I usually come up with here is The One Thing. It's a productivity book. Frederick Delavia, The Anatomy of Strength is very, very good for any PTs out there. Eat That Frog is also a good one. The Chimp Paradox is also a good one. You name it, there's a million ones. The 47 Laws of Power, all Napoleon Hill stuff, Tony Robbins stuff. Go nuts. There's too many to mention. Opinions on HIT lists from purely a body recomposition point of view, or is there not much difference in them? There's loads of difference in them. There's an entire section in the seminars I do just on HIT and lists and how and when to use them properly. Now, HIT specifically is high intensity interval training. It's bouts, for anyone who doesn't know, bouts of high intensity, really, really hard training followed by rest or low intensity and then repeating that for a number of cycles. Now, it can be very, very useful for those who want to lose a lot of fat very, very quickly. However, it can also be quite damaging for those of you carrying a lot of fat or have very, very poor joint integrity, so it's not for everyone. That's where low intensity cardio comes in more. However, low intensity is also far more useful the leaner you are, because high intensity to a degree risks you losing muscle when you have got very little body fat to use. So low intensity is often slightly better down at that level. However, it can elevate cortisol, it can do all sorts of other things. HIT can affect your recovery. Each one of them has a balance. As I say, there's an entire section I go on about in the seminar with proper pretty slides and shit to give you a real indication of how to use it correctly, but they both have a place. They just need to be selected correctly. One of the annoyances about HIT specifically right now, you know, low intensity, steady state cardio, the common little bit on a cross trainer, that kind of thing, has a really, really bad rep because it was overused. Simple as that. Doing it, even daily, can be incredibly beneficial to you. Good for your circulation, good for your health, great for your heart, good for your muscle building when done adequately, providing it is alongside a strength training, a heavy weighted strength training program. HIT is also very, very useful in a body recomposition program. However, it's been massively overused also now by all of these fuck knuckles who do home training programs and 30-minute HIT this and 20-minute HIT that and 8-minute HIT this, all this home stuff, because you all end up massively overtrained because you do it every single day or maybe 2 or 3 times a day thinking it's okay. You end up with joint problems, elbows, shoulders, knees, necks, backs, ankles, because you are overusing movements that should be limited to a certain point. So they both have their uses, you just have to use them correctly. For most of you out there, first and foremost, the prerequisite is it needs to be used in conjunction with a strength training program, a gym-based weight training program. If you do that, that is going to keep you A, structurally sound and safe, and B, it is going to keep you in a position where you're going to continue to build muscle and not risk losing it. High intensity interval training, maybe 1 to 2 short sessions per week, limited to about 20 minutes. With regards to lists, low intensity steady state, even something like a walk first thing in the morning is enough. 30 to 40 minute walk, nice and fast, but I mean fast, you know, get your heart rate up, do it purposefully, don't just stroll around town or go for a meander, actually walk like it is purposeful exercise. And then you've got the perfect combination. So 2 HIT, as much steady state as you feel like you want or you need to keep your body healthy and your mind healthy. Easy. If a client doesn't like counting reps, is it okay if I time each set, keeping it within the... so I'm guessing a PT, why is the client supposed to be counting reps and not you? I would say, yeah, try it. If they want to time it, if they're prepared to time it, but they don't want to count reps, there's something weird going on there. If they don't want to count reps, but they want a result, tells me they don't really want a result. I just received my UP Live plan, but only 3 weeks I'm focusing on my arms as a specialist body part, and I think I should train chest more than anything as it is my weak part. Want to train 4 days. Di, if you have received that, then Well, A, I don't recognise what's your full name, because I don't recognise your name. I don't believe you have checked in at any point. And the Live Up plan is a full body focus plan. If you've had arms specialisation, this all sounds a little bit weird to me, so let me know your full name, or better still, email Charlotte and speak to her about it, and you may get a bit of information there, because that doesn't sound quite right to me. What do you think about buying food from Aldi? You go nuts, Stuffer, you buy food from Aldi. I believe Aldi, it's either Aldi or Lidl, no, it's Aldi, is now the only fully organic supermarket in Europe, right? I may be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure it's the same. Bath with Epsom salt / magnesium, flakes after heavy lifting helps recovery, myth or fact? Fact. Any views on Barry's boot camp as part of a training schedule? Not really. I think, you know, this is the opinion of me, Elliot Upton, not that of UP. I think it's all just a massive waste of time gimmick personally, but good business, right? They've grown massively, really, really quickly. They obviously know what they're doing. They've marketed to the right people. You know, they've got people just sweating and moving. It's not worth a thing, you know, it's not going to get anyone real results, but it does get people off the sofa and it gets them moving. If body composition and getting a transformation is your goal, no, it's not the way to go. However, if exercising, getting yourself moving, generally being a bit healthier, getting your ass off the sofa is your goal, by all means, go nuts. My son wants to join the Live Up program. How do you go about doing this, and is it £50 per month? It is Mama DJR, but needs to make sure he is over 18, otherwise we cannot accept him. My bear Gita, will you recommend cardio straight after weight training for weight loss? I'd recommend something like intervals immediately after weight training for fat loss, yes, but we're talking like, you know, a short 10-minute interval. I would not recommend you train for 45 minutes an hour and then go and do an hour's cardio. The good chances you're going to end up heavily overtrained and a little bit screwed up by that, in my opinion. You know, that's not to say everyone will be the same, but on the whole, probably not worth it. Plus, if you have that much time on your hands, thanks for the magnesium tip, Elliot. Never did much for me, ZMA, but glycinate is working. Good, good, good. Glad to hear it. Fraser, thank you for your in-depth answers. Just to let you know, your no bullshit answers to a few of these questions have left me cracking up and sold me on Live Up. You're welcome, Fraser. It's kind of my thing. It doesn't, not everyone's so impressed by it, but ultimately it is me. I spoke to a very, very close friend of mine here, Hannah Anderson, very, very, very talented, very beautiful girl, who like 2 or 3 years ago told me to be a little bit nicer on social media and stop picking on things. Now, I tried, I did, but it's just not my personality. Number one, I don't like seeing people get ripped off. It drives me fucking crazy. I really hate it. I hate watching people get ripped off, and I like to help people. And number two, I feel really passionate about my job. I feel passionate about the things I say. I feel passionate about the things I teach, and sometimes that comes across, not always in the most polite way, but ultimately every one of you out there, whether you're offended by the things I say or not, I'm doing it to try and help you. Sometimes you just need a slap in the face. You know, some of you out there are flaky little pansies who make excuses to do the things you want to do. And this is why you don't get results. So if I offend you, I'm not going to necessarily apologize, but, you know, I'm doing it for your own good. Hello, Jenny Stokes. Sorry, I meant counting the reps, but he doesn't want to follow the tempo. So much for the answer. Again, he said if he doesn't want to follow tempo, then I would have to ask, does your client really want results? Oh yeah, I'm paying you 100 quid an hour, whatever, for results. No, sorry, I don't want to count tempo. Fuck off. I have started doing Pound Fit. It's a cardio workout. That totally sounds dirty. Arms getting a little more muscle definition than I'd like. Lighter weights or less reps. Typical routine at the moment. AMRAP, 400 meter run, 200 kilo barbell, 10 clean and press. That sounds very, very much like CrossFit. In which case, pretty much you're going to end up with quite a masculine upper body, as most CrossFitters do. One of those things. That's female CrossFitters. Most male CrossFitters tend not to end up with massive upper bodies. Thoughts on compression clothing? I actually really, really back them up. Dependent on how they work, you know, the theory is aid in blood flow and recovery. For me, I wear them on my calves. I wear big calf socks if I'm doing any kind of sprints or running or cardio, because my calves are massive, and it really does help. You know, if I try to run, for instance, I'm 100 and odd kilos, and if I try to run, my calves are in agony within about 3 or 4 minutes. If I wear calf socks, I can run for 20, 30 minutes without any real issue. So yes, I'm 100% behind compression clothing. Ryan James Taylor, even though UP are big advocates of carbs later in the day, which I agree with, would you recommend carbs for breakfast if you train early or having them post-training? The only time I advocate carbs for breakfast is if you are probably 8 to 10%. Like if you're legitimately really, really lean and you train hard, then have carbs for breakfast. If you don't train hard and you are not particularly lean, I wouldn't suggest carbs for breakfast. That simple, that's my rule. You know, it's about being lean. With sticks, I'm not saying anything, Jenny, whatever you're into, yeah? Joe, visiting Marbella in July. Can anyone train at UP Marbella Gym and still do you, or do I personally take PT sessions there? I don't personally take PT sessions anymore. I don't do one-to-one personal training sessions anymore. But yes, you can train there. You can email Samantha if you have a pen handy or your phone or whatever. Samantha at upfitness.com.es. That's Samantha at upfitness.com.es. And just let her know and they will arrange passes for you or guests, which can be anything from a day to a week to a month, whatever. And also if you want personal training from one of my team out here, we have our senior trainers out here, you can more than welcome join. That one didn't even make sense. You can tell I'm tired and still a little bit jet lagged. You are more than welcome to join them for a personal training session and Samantha can arrange that for you. Jeez. Charan, thoughts on women intermittent fasting? A 14-hour fast, does this play havoc with women's cortisol? Generally with your endocrine system, in my opinion, I do not really like intermittent fasting. I think it serves its purposes. If you have a few digestive issues, it can potentially help, unless you are doing what most intermittent fasters do and fasting for X amount of hours, then loading up on massive portions of food, in which case it exacerbates it. On the whole, I'm not a huge fan of intermittent fasting. I don't believe it works. I do believe it screws up. It's going to elevate cortisol, it's going to fuck with your estrogen levels, it's going to fuck with your, you name it. It does everything and it causes bad habits, in my opinion. Now, there's a lot of people who are going to disagree with that. Fine, don't really care. But in my opinion, no. Stay away from intermittent fasting. Women especially, the more frequently you can eat, the better. Ryan James, you're welcome. Abigail, how much is a block of 20 training sessions in UP Marbella? Abigail, if again, you can either go to Ultimate Performance Marbella on the website and you can send an inquiry, or you can email the email address I just mentioned, Samantha at upfitness.com.es, and she will answer that with full block booking prices so you can tell exactly how many are there. Have we got? Yes, I've got drink break. Boom. All right. Amplify, available on upfitness.com. Done. Right, come on, folks. We've got 56 people in here, and I've caught up on the questions. And I've given some really detailed ones, so we're not answering them. I trained my quads today, and you know when they start to like lock up, you can start to feel the tension in your knees. I've been standing upright behind the reception desk for too long. It's not good. It's not good. So I'm flying into Manchester on Saturday to sit one of my Live Up seminars in the Manchester Spinning Fields gym on Sunday. So anyone who's come to that, I'll see you there. I'm very, very excited. The one in London went really, really well. It was awesome. And I will see any of you possibly that may be training in there on the Saturday. I'll see you in there. And of course, I'll be signing autographs and all that shit. Imagine it. Imagine it. You're a funny dude. Thanks, Di. I did my best. How many calories are burned during strength training and how many during afterburn effect? Average male. Literally no answer. No answer. Let's say, for instance, me, I'm 102 odd kilos. If I train my legs, I'll probably burn about 400 calories in 45 minutes to an hour. If I train my upper body, try that again because my battery paused on the phone. If I train my legs hard, we're talking squats, deadlifts, RDLs, big compound movements, maybe I'll burn 400 to 450 per hour training session. If I'm doing more isolated work, maybe I'll only do 250 to 300 in an hour on my legs. If I'm doing my upper body, 200 calories to 300 calories, depending on the size of the lifts, the intensity, the speed, the weight, etc. There is really no answer to that. With regards to an afterburn effect, if you have done enough muscular damage, potentially you're going to be burning about 15 to 20% more calories the following, let's say, 24 hours, maybe to 36 at a stretch, depending on each individual. But again, a lot of this is going to come down to conditioning, because the fitter you are, the stronger you get, potentially the less effort you're going to have to output in order to elicit the same result, and blah, 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 blah. So it's a massively open-ended question. Hi mate, what's your views on BCAAs? BCAAs for me have always worked, but specifically leucine, which is the useful one, which increases protein synthesis, i.e. the turnover of muscle tissue, actually helping you to build muscle. And we have high doses of leucine in our Amplify supplement, which is going to speed up the recovery process. It's going to help you build more muscle more quickly and prolong the process of muscle building, so it does everything it says in the tin. It's also full of glutamine, it's full of electrolytes to replenish lost mineral stores, and glycine to aid absorption. So BCAAs, which we have all used for a very, very long time, which I do genuinely believe worked, but more specifically it was the leucine that worked, which is why rather than the BCAAs we take something like leucine, and having essential amino acids can be very beneficial. What's better, tap water with London's toxins or bottled water with BPA? Bottled water without BPA, which is just as easy to get. What's your personal goals at the moment, and how are you trying to achieve them, both personal, if you don't mind, and gym goals? First and foremost, I need to get leaner again. I've done very little but travel for a long, long time, and trying to, with the best efforts in the world, trying to prep. My workload has been fucking enormous. I've had a lot of personal problems recently with families. I've got all sorts of shit going on. So right now, my number one goal is to relax a little bit. After I've got the Manchester seminar done, I'm going to try and wind down just a little bit. I was over in LA last week with Nick. I was sitting in his kitchen. Even he told me to take time off, which is, you know, that's when I know I need to back off a little bit. So first and foremost, I need to try and find some time to relax soon. I probably won't, because I love my job and I don't really feel like it's a stress on me, but I do feel a physical stress. Like, you know, I'm tired. So I need to back off on that. Then getting back to some kind of consistency whilst not traveling. So I'm going to spend at least a couple of months in one place. I'm going to try not to travel. I'm going to make sure my food is on point. I'm going to make sure the inflammation has come down. I'll make sure that I'm feeling healthy. That's first and foremost. With regards to my specific personal goals, I want to earn more. I want to be more successful. I want to make Live Up way, way, way bigger and more effective. I want to reach out to more people and help more people on how to do things the right way, because so many of you out there are not doing things correctly, and it's really fucking easy, and it's very easy for me to teach you how to do it. So I really want Live Up to be as big as possible. And long term, you know, I got my dream car last year. You know, I worked very, very hard for very, very many years to be able to afford it. I was in a position to afford it, so I got it. You know, I rewarded myself. Otherwise, what is the point of the hard work if you don't give yourself rewards intermittently? This next year or two, it's all about getting a house or two for me. I want to get a house or two under my belt, get some money, you know, making itself on the sidelines. So all sorts of stuff going on. But ultimately, you know, it all comes down to my success within UP, my success within the business, UP's success within the world, Live Up's coverage, Live Up's ability to help and deliver what we say we can deliver, what I say Live Up can deliver. So it all comes down to that. Number one, get healthy and feel well again. Number two, make Live Up the best that it can be. Hi, what do I think of keto? Keto has its uses for something like polycystic ovaries or epilepsy, but on everything else, I think it's a massive waste of time. I think it's grossly missold, it's grossly misused, and it's just yet another gimmick. Simple as that. And I go into this again in every single live feed, it goes on, every single one. Ultimately, if I give you a diet that says eat your green vegetables and some clean proteins and blah, 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 and it's gonna cost you 100 quid and it'll get you in shape. Or I say at point of sale, or I can give you for the same 100 quid a diet that allows you to eat cheese and sausages and burgers and yogurt and blah, blah, blah. You're gonna pick the fun one. It's just a sales decoy, it's just a sales thing. Dropping out carbohydrates is very, very beneficial for many people, but you don't do it in the way that keto says you do it. To me, it's ridiculous, it's stupidity, it's not done well, it's not coached properly, it certainly isn't interpreted properly by the end user. If you want to get in shape, get your diet slightly better balanced, fill it with fiber, fill it with vegetables, fill it with high quality proteins, stay away from processed shit like cheeses and creams and all this stuff, and you'll do far, far better. That simple. Keto, for me, is bullshit. Aisha, bought your online program, never used weights before. How do I get support with this? And if you've bought the Live Up program, you will see, if you follow the instructions that have been sent to you in email, there is an online video library of over 400 exercises with everything you could possibly need to know. So you are not caught short there. Secondly, you should have access, if you have requested access and followed the instructions in your email, to a massive online forum where all of the exercises that may not be in the library have already been posted in videos there, and you'll get support from all the girls. So everything's kind of taken care of. Look at the documents that have been sent to you, because every single answer you could need is in there. I also personally recorded 50 videos answering your FAQs. So watch through them, read the document, reread the document. Everything is already there for you. Just pay attention to what's come to you and you should be okay. Abigail, do you recommend not to eat carbohydrates for the first week of losing weight to boost weight loss? At the start, as a personal trainer, recommended this. It can be really, really beneficial. It depends for me. On the client, depends what I recommend. On the Live Up plan, I let everybody eat carbs from day one. They may come out at a later stage if someone is A, not doing things correctly, B, not performing, not delivering. But on the whole, Live Up, I don't. If I was doing one-to-one, for instance, some clients, yes, it's way more beneficial to. Other clients, no, it's not necessary. There's no real golden rule, but it can certainly be beneficial. Should you train abs most days at 13 to 40% body fat or aim to get leaner first? I would always aim to get leaner. You know, when you can see a muscle, start training it. What a lot of people do is instead of training the big movements like deadlifts and squats and pull-ups because they're hard and they kick the shit out of you, most of you go in there and train abs and then say, well, I haven't got a six-pack. Because you're not training hard enough. They do the big movements that burn loads and loads of calories. If you do, then you're going to get leaner way, way faster. If your diet is in check, then you can start training abs and polishing everything up. The Eva Greatest. There we go. I struggle to get the amount of calories required in a day. Mentally, I really struggle to believe that I need to eat so much food to help me lose weight. How do I get over this? You basically just said it. Build a bridge. Get over it. The fact of the matter is, if you've not been eating many calories and it's not worked for you, what would be the logical next step? Eat more calories to see if that works for you. That's simple. You know, if you're struggling with the amounts of foods, eat more fats. Eat more fats, olive oil dressings, avocados, things like that, peanut butter. You can get your calories up real, real easy. But, you know, we all know Einstein's definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If you've always dieted on low calories and you've never got anything from it, why not try dieting on high calories? See what happens. With UP Live, do you get a personalised plan? Sorry, I've just started following the company. It's not personalised. It is a pre-made program, pre-made diet that everybody follows with minor adjustments along the way. At the price point we offer it at, you know, the reason we wrote Live Up was to deliver a service to UP followers and the people who wanted to train with UP but couldn't necessarily afford the products that we had in line, i.e. one-to-one online training or one-to-one training in our gyms. Now, obviously, at that price point, there is only so much that we can legitimately give you. But it is an effective program. The results speak for themselves. Anyone who's done the program will vouch for it. Obviously, if you want something more personalized, then one-to-one online training or our in-gym training, if you're near one of our locations, is where you need to be. You can't expect a huge amount on something like Live Up for £50 per month. If you want the personalization, that acute level of personalization and accountability, then I would recommend you go for the one-to-one instead. Jacobo, that answered my question. Thanks, you're welcome. Amy Bills, thanks for the answer. If my sessions sound like CrossFit and therefore leading to a masculine upper body, what's a better alternative that does maximum bang for your buck in 50 minutes 3 times a week? Actual structured program training. That literally is kind of its classic CrossFit style programming, which is just blindly, oh, what should we do today? I'll scribble it up on a board and then go. If you want to get in shape, then you will need to train like a bodybuilder. You know, you're gonna have to look at your body and say, like, what do I need to work on? What do I need to bring up? What do I need to make smaller? What do I need to adjust? That is a very, very personalized thing. And that is gonna take a coach. It's not something I can really say, all right, try this on a live feed like this. It's gonna take some programming based on how you look now and what you want the output to be. So it's gonna take a little bit more detail. Baz, you're welcome. What are the most essential supplements to use? In my opinion, they are vitamin D3, magnesium, zinc, digestive enzymes, omega-3, and probably, that'd be about it actually. And obviously something like Amplify can really, really help. Whey protein. If you go over to upfitness.com and in the search bar type Live Up space essentials, it will give you 2 supplements packages that I have put together, one for males, one for females, which I believe are pretty much the basics that you should all be using. Okay, that's the stuff that you need to be renewing every couple of months that should always be in your fridge or your cupboard, whatever. Now, aside from that, there are many, many things that can be beneficial to take depending on your individual needs. You know, if you have specific ailments, you have specific deficiencies, you can add other stuff. But those, the Live Up Essentials on upfitness.com are what the kind of basics that I would recommend all of you try. So give them a go. Victor Marquez, thoughts on glutamine, best time to take it every day or on training days. Victor, I would suggest every day. Glutamine is an amazing supplement, amazing supplement. It can kind of be used to create any other amino acid that you're lacking, so it's highly recommended you take it. It can help protect muscle, it can help prevent your body from gaining fat, all sorts of things. It helps the gut lining, it helps repair guts, it helps generally maintain health. I would recommend taking about 5 grams per day, either first thing in the morning or in your post-workout shake or during your workout, either or. This is why we add glutamine to our Amplify supplement, which again you can find on upfitness.com. But taking it when your body's gonna uptake it properly, which is gonna be first thing in the morning, or it's gonna be post-workout. And I would recommend taking it every day, not just on training days. So that's 5 grams per day. Nick, what upper body exercises would I use for a female transformation? For a female transformation on the whole, lots and lots of horizontal pulling. Lots and lots of horizontal pulling to rebalance the shoulder position, to lift the chest up, to improve general posture, because what you find is women, whether they have big boobs or small boobs, all tend to curl in like this and have worse posture. So horizontal pulling is going to help lift that up. I do quite a lot of shoulder and rear delt work to give you nice rounded soft capped shoulders, a little bit of arm work and a fair amount of ab work. That's what I predominantly suggest you do on a female transformation. It's powerlifting in the program. Mostly do deadlifts and squats and bench. All 3 are in there. We intermittently move between them, but I wouldn't necessarily say powerlifting because obviously we do the big compound movements, certainly in the first 5 phases on the Live Up program. We do the big compound movements from a body composition point of view, not an outright strength point of view. Later on in the phases from 6 onwards, then we move into strength cycles and we will introduce that kind of stuff. But yes, the big movements are in there. They're not necessarily done in a powerlifting way per se. Abigail, you're most welcome. Boski, I seem to have strained a ligament or something in my elbow that won't shift. Should I stay off it or take it easy? First and foremost, Boski, I'll get it checked. If it's a ligament, if you have done damage to a ligament, which are the fibrous tissues that hold bones to bones, they do not repair very well at all. So if you've properly done something to that, you're gonna need some work on it. You're gonna need to loosen the muscle tissue around it, and you are gonna need to rest it. If, however, it's just a bit of a niggle in a tendon or a muscle, the recovery time is going to be slightly less, but again, I would still recommend you go and see someone to try and find out exactly what it is. Gabrielle Ashmore, you are mint. Thank you. You're mint. Thank you. Kiss Fifi, that's a name. I like that. Hello. Tina, yo. The Eva, cheers, man. Massive help. You're welcome. Phil Monk, Live Up is worth the £50 a month. Definitely a good investment. Awesome, Phil. You've got a ton of muscle. Let's get you absolutely shredded. We've got time. Can I watch this segment again later? You certainly can. It will be on here on UP Fitness Live for the next 24 hours. After that, it will be on YouTube, which you'll see on my YouTube at Elliot Upton. It's not even at Elliot Upton, is it, on YouTube? It's just Elliot Upton, where all of the live feeds that I've done from day one are on there. And we come back here every 2 weeks, so you can check that out. Obviously, if you don't know where to find that on YouTube, you can go and follow my Instagram profile, which is at Elliot Upton, and I'll put the link up there in the next few days on my story. Kiss Fifi, if you dieted in low calories, like 1400, what will happen if you start eating more, like in the Live Up plan? Will you still lose weight, slow metabolism, slow? First of all, 1400 is not that low, depending on how, what size you are. If you're a 50, 60 kilo girl, 1400 calories really isn't that low. The amount of calories your body operates properly on is dependent on so many things, illness, medications you've had, things that happen to you while you're a fetus, all of these things. So to say that low is low and high is high, it's not quite that simple. However, yes, theoretically, if you are, you've dieted super low and you have negatively affected your metabolism, which often isn't the case, but if you have done that, you've sustained it for a long time, and you have negatively affected your metabolism, sometimes suddenly eating loads of calories can cause you problems. However, the Live Up plan is based to start you, as I mentioned earlier with my approach, is based to start you at what I would perceive your maintenance roughly is. So theoretically, most people, in fact, no, that's not even theoretically, every single person in the history of Live Up and 6Fit, which is what it was before, who has started it in the first 2 weeks has lost fat. That's simple. So you would be an anomaly if you didn't. Right, I've got the 2-minute countdown. Instagram's just give me 2 minutes to finish this up. So ask your questions really quick, and I'll have to answer them really quick. Fatty, what is carb cycling? Carb cycling is something I explained earlier, so if you want to re-watch this video or check it out on YouTube when I put it up tomorrow, rather than me going into it, because I did give you quite a big explanation earlier, re-watch this video and you'll see a little bit on carb cycling in there. Coconut milk is a fat source, yay or nay? Dave, honestly, I think now at your level of body fat, you can get away with it. You know, you've done really, really well. Obviously, keep an eye on what happens because it would be a shame to lose it in these last 2 weeks. But you can start, you're edging to that point where you can start getting away with a little bit more freedom with your food. So I would suggest, yes, you probably can. But I still expect you to finish the next couple of weeks at about 8% body fat. So get lean as I want to see dick skin across your abs. Not someone else's dick skin, I mean actual so lean that you can see veins underneath your abs. Someone else's dick skin would be weird on your abs. Get lean. 1 minute remaining. Come on, come at me with these questions. We've got to go quick, got to go quick. Otherwise, we're going to run out of time. I'm not surprised you're laughing. You probably know what I'm talking about. Way! 44 seconds remaining. You're welcome, Dave, not a problem. Finish that transformation up, mate. I know we dropped the ball last week, or the week before last week, but finish it off. You are this close. This close. Get there. Crazy crew. Dick skin, that's the best way to, you know, anyone there is looking down their dick thinking, yeah, it's lean, it's shredded. But that's what I mean. That's the easiest way to describe it. That's how lean you want to be. Will you eat chocolate over Easter? Probably, yeah. Well, no, saying that, it depends how lean I am. Because I really do genuinely want to get lean now. I want to be healthy. I've been traveling too much. I'm too tired. See you Sunday. See you Sunday, Joanne. Abigail, good diet and training only twice a week. Is that helpful? It's better than not training at all. Right, 3 seconds. Catch this on YouTube. Thank you. I've been Elliot Upton. This is UP Fitness Live. Goodbye. For some reason, every single time Instagram is about to stop, as I'm saying goodbye, it cuts me off 2 seconds. It pauses it. Like, I don't know what's going on. If anyone from Instagram ever watches one of these videos, please tell me what is going on there and fix it because it's so annoying. Anyway, that last rant over. My name is Elliot Upton. That was our live feed on @UP Fitness Live. We are there every single 2 weeks, but make sure you get on over there and follow us anyway. Speak to any of the other team that are up there on the live feeds very, very regularly. If you have any questions that I haven't answered here, but you want to put them in the comments box below, please do. Remember to like and share this to your Facebook, to your Twitter, to your social media, whatever. But until the next time on here, which is about 2 weeks from now, peace out. Don't forget to check out all the other videos and feel free to drop a comment asking me to film something else. But until then, bye-bye.